What's good, everybody? I'm bringing you this WWE Fastlane recap. Been a busy night. I'm telling you, we got UFC, we got it all going on. As you can tell, Roman Reigns won the main event between him and Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar. He is going on to main event WrestleMania against Triple H. People didn't like it, whatever. We're going to talk about that and the rest of the card, but I want to let you guys know, remember, the boxing, the MMA, the WWE recaps are going to the new channel beginning the week of February 28th. Make sure you click that link at the bottom of the screen and go and subscribe so you can stay abreast of that, as well as Ask FP. Let's jump into the recap. The first match, Alberto Del Rio against Kalisto. This was the pre-show match, and it was pretty decent. Best 2 out of 3 falls. Alberto Del Rio came out, gave away the first fall by hitting Kalisto in the face with a chair. They played it off as if it was going to be, the strategy. So he's going to maim Kalisto early and then, take advantage of him for a quick finish. Don't forget to like the video, please. So I knew he was going to lose as soon as they did that. So he did get the quick second fall. So it's like, oh my God, yes. Even so, he's going to get a quick third pin. No, not so much. Kalisto, the match had good pacing. Kalisto wins the third fall, but he won it by roll-up. I would have liked to see him win it by Salina Del Sol, some sort of cool jump off there. But it was a pre-show match, so I understand him somewhat holding back a little bit there with the in match writing. But it was what it was. Hopefully this feud is kind of over, though. I think it was a cool feud. It made sense for it to be there, but overall, I thought I think this is about the time it's supposed to end. Obviously, WWE has been guilty of maybe dragging on some feuds a little bit longer than they should, but hopefully this one's the end. The next match, or the first match of the actual show, we saw Sasha and Becky against Team Bad. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, especially if you guys have heard or seen my previous recaps. Y'all know I'm not the biggest fan of Becky Lynch's in-ring work. But this match was not that bad. I'm going to be totally honest. I thought that Sasha and I don't think Becky was horrible. And I thought Sasha and Naomi were great. Tamina is struggling right now. She's really struggling. I can imagine she probably got some stuff on her mind, things going on with her father and things like that. But yeah, she's struggling. She's struggling, grossly out of shape. She's just struggling. The match itself had some decent pace, and it did have some awkward moments. But for the most part, I thought that there was some really cool scramble situations in the match. Sasha's just so talented. It's just really crazy how good she is. And I think Naomi is right there. I didn't like the fact that Sasha kicked out of Naomi's finisher. I'm like, man, Naomi hasn't even gotten to the pinnacle of the business, and we already got people kicking out of a finisher. So whatever. But Sasha and Becky win the match. And I thought the ending was pretty cool because it had Sasha slide with the bank statement on Tamina. And as Naomi tried to save her, Becky Lynch stopped the save and then put Naomi in the disarmer. So they were kind of tapping out in unison in the middle of the ring, which was a pretty cool little ending. We've seen it before, but it was pretty decent. Next up, we had the Intercontinental Championship match. Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler. If you would have told me this match was going to happen 6 months ago, I'd have been really hyped, like, oh, yeah, this is cool. But I don't know. As much as I like Dolph Ziggler, because I know that they have a ceiling on him, I'm not really, I don't get super excited when I see him because I just kind of know he's going to run into the ceiling and they're not going to allow him to really be in a big-time match anymore. And the match had some cool stuff. It turned into like a super kick fest, but overall, I was just waiting for Dolph to lose because I knew that was coming, and that's exactly what happened. Pop-up power bomb from Kevin Owens, and he ended up getting the win. I gave the rating. I actually gave some ratings to these matches. The ADR against Kalisto match, I had that one at a 6.5 for the rating out of 10, and then the Sasha and Becky against Team Bad, I actually gave that one a 6.75. I thought that was pretty decent. And then the Owens Ziggler match, I gave also a 6.75. I grade kind of hard, but I mean, every match is not a classic. We can't act like it's a classic. So it is what it is. Next up was Brie against Charlotte for the Divas Championship. And I got to be totally honest with you guys. The match was real bad. It was about a 5, to be honest. It was about a 5. It was a sloppy botch fest that was cheaply trying to capitalize on Daniel Bryan's recent retirement. And that's really all it was. I can't lie to you guys. It's pretty much that's all it was nothing more, nothing less than that. You heard me talk about Becky in the ring, right? And Brie seems like a real sweet girl and everything, but Becky is a lot better in the ring than Brie is. And y'all already know I don't think that Becky's great in the ring. So it was bad. 5 out of 10, and that might have been generous. The next match was the Wyatt family taking on, and Brace had it out, taking on Luke Harper, Braun Strowman, and Eric Rowan. So, no, I'm sorry, that was the Wyatt family. It was Luke Harper, Braun Strowman, and Eric Rowan taking on Kane, Ryback, and The Big Show. Normally, you would probably think this match was dreadful, right? But it really wasn't. It really wasn't a bad match. It had really good pace. And I'm going to tell you, if they gave out a Most Improved Performer award, you got to give it to Ryback. He has diversified his moveset to a level that you got to really acknowledge. I mean, he's doing second rope moves. He had a little sequence there. We did about 6 or 7 high knees in the corner. I mean, obviously the power move is going to be there. That's his thing for sure. I mean, he 6 or 7 straight body slams, and still to have the wind to finish the match with a shell shock, which is what he did on Luke Harper after some cool scrambling. I thought he did a really good job, and I thought the match was good too. And it was weird because the match was absolutely pointless. I hate what's going on with the Wyatts. They have never dug their foot in the sand, and Bray's not had a championship run. So I think they really need some validation, but it hasn't happened, and they keep losing feuds for the most part. And then this one probably goes down as another one. But I gave it a 7 out of 10. Ryback definitely performed very well. I'm flipping over my paper for you guys right now. The next one, AJ Styles versus Jericho. Really good match. Thought it was a good match. One of the best matches of the night. I do think that Jericho's very sloppy, though. So this match primarily was great to me because of AJ Styles. He sold everything Jericho did great. Everything that the guy does, just even at his age, at 38, 39 years old, he still does it with great flair. You watch him now, and you see how good he is, and you just wish he was there 10 years ago so you could have saw more of him being this great and even better in the WWE. But Jericho, man, he's almost like a hazard, though, man. He at this point in his career, I mean, there was a couple times where, man, Styles had to save himself because Jericho just buckling. So, but the match was still good. AJ Styles hit the Styles Clash, but he actually ended up finishing him with the calf crusher. Jericho tapping out to Styles is a major putting over of AJ Styles at this point. I gave that match a 7 out of 10. From there, we had 2 time eaters, basically time killing sequences. The New Day came out for an episode of the Cutting Edge Peep Show, and I love the New Day, and Edge and Christian are pretty cool, but this was just a big waste. The League of Legends came out, and maybe they're starting some sort of feud with the League of Legends and New Day. It was just bizarre. The jokes were kind of funny, but then more just weird, and the New Day they're doing too much butt gyration now for me, and I want them to slow down on that. It's getting a little weirdo, creepy type of thing. I don't know what they're doing, but that segment just wasn't all that great, and I gave it a 5 out of 10. The next segment/match was even worse. The Social Outcasts, who I do kind of like, but this was an absolutely pointless segment. R-Truth against Curtis Axel. The match lasted all of 4 or 5 minutes. Curtis Axel got the win with the help from the Social Outcasts. Goldust comes out. He's been trying to convince R-Truth to join a tag team, or the form of tag team with him called the Golden Truth. It was a golden mess is what it was. I gave it a 3 out of 10. Just wasn't good. Finally, we got the main event. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Brock Lesnar triple threat match. The match was very good, as most would have expected. Had some really cool spots. 2 double power bomb, I guess that's what you want to call it, double power bombs to Brock Lesnar through tables. buried him under the table. We've seen that happen before. He emerges from the rubble and German suplexes both Roman and Dean Ambrose at the same time. So essentially, the narrative of the match was Brock's dominance. They had to team up on him to get him down, basically, so that they could have their sequence going at it in the ring. They did that. Brock still emerging out of the rubble and what have you. But ultimately, Brock has Roman in a Kimura. Roman is powering out of the Kimura. He stands up with him, which we haven't seen a lot of people do that. Stands up with him, but as he stands up with him and exposes Brock's back, Dean comes in with a chair, laces Brock across the back, makes him break the hold. Then he starts pounding Roman with the chair, and he seemingly has the upper hand as he slaps the chair across Brock again, and Brock rolls out of the ring. Well, he turns around, and Roman hits the spear, and he gets the pin. So we saw Brock kick out of a spear. We also saw Roman kick out of Dirty Deeds in this match. So we had the drama, we had the almost pins, and I thought the pace, everything was pretty solid. If anything I would say about this match was, I don't know if we saw, but outside of the double powerbomb, the double German suplex thing, we didn't see anything that we don't see a lot. So I still gave it a 7.75 overall out of 10, that particular match. But it wasn't a classic. It wasn't. It was a solid match, but it wasn't a classic. And overall, this pay-per-view was just not really good. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. I mean, it was probably more like a 6.5, a 6 out of 10. I'm just being honest. I would love to give it more, but it didn't really build up a great deal of hype for WrestleMania. They got some work to do tomorrow on Raw and on the subsequent Raw and SmackDowns to really build up some stuff for this coming WrestleMania. You know the roster is light. I don't know what they can do, but they got to get something done because this didn't establish any momentum at all going into WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens, but I do appreciate you guys watching. I got to flip it right over. You guys stay tuned to the channel a little bit later on if you're MMA fans, because I'll have the UFC Fight Night 83 recap coming for you in a matter of an hour or so, more than likely. So I appreciate you watching. God bless you. Peace.